Zweites Viertelfinale. Er ist der allererste Champion auf der European Tour, weil er 2012 das erste Event damals in Österreich in Wiener Neustadt gewann. Ein ehemaliger Top-10-Spieler, war mal die Nummer 8 der Welt. Inzwischen ist er ein bisschen abgerutscht im Ranking. Zurzeit die Nummer 32. Herzlich willkommen, The Force, Justin Pipe. Justin Pipe nimmt es auf mit dem BDO-Weltmeister aus dem Jahre 2014. 2015 kam er zur PDC, hat gleich richtig attackiert, ist aktuell die Nummer 22 der Welt. Ihn kennt ihr selbstverständlich alle. The Bullet, Stephen Bunting!
Michael van Gerwen is already through to the semi-finals of the European Darts Matchplay and is looking in kind of unstoppable mood. The winner of this will be faced with the task of stopping Michael van Gerwen in the semis. Justin Pipe, who has forced his way through to the quarterfinals and into contention for a previously unlikely spot at the World Matchplay next month. There is certainly a lot more work to do to achieve that, because Pipe would have to win the tournament. Stephen Bunting, if he wins this quarter-final, he will match his best ever run on the European Tour, and Pipe is at this stage for the first time in over 3 years. Two players returning to form for the right to take on the man who has been formidable for the last few years. It's Justin Pipe against Stephen Bunting for the right to take on MVG. I'm Chris Murphy, and Dan Dawson joins me for this one.
Yeah, the Force and the Bullet just having a conflab at the moment to try and figure out if the board is straight, I think. So Hugh Ware will go through the more traditional route of straightening the board, of just moving it around, rather than the Kirk Bevins route of producing something from his Batman utility belt to try and prove that it is level. See if they're happy with that. They appear to be. Stephen Bunting, well, both of these guys have taken out some of the top seeds. It was Darryl Gurney beaten by Stephen Bunting this afternoon in a close game with 8 180s in all, 4 apiece. Whereas Justin Pipe saw off Joe Cullen, the number 5 seed, and on the Euro Tour that is no mean feat, because even though Cullen has not won one of these European Tour events, he has regularly been in the final session of action. Not to be for him this weekend, though.
Yes, Justin Pipe taking some sizable scalps. They wouldn't have been in years gone by, but right now, wins against the likes of Whitlock and Cullen especially, giant killings for Justin Pipe.
The flag Stephen to the first, game on.
He has lost his last 3 against Stephen Bunting, so as I said, plenty of work to do before Justin Pipe can dream about Blackpool Beach next month.
100.
Well, look, nobody's got a great record against Michael van Gerwen. That's just what comes with the territory of going up against the world number 1. However, both of these guys have beaten MVG in ranking tournament finals in the past.
100.
Admittedly, the last time that Justin was in a final, it was on the European Tour, the Dutch Darts Masters 3 years ago. He faced MVG and got ironed out 6-0.
It's worth pointing out that the format has been extended for these European to latter stages, the semis, where they would meet Michael van Gerwen, and the final. Have to win an extra leg in each of those.
85.
I should point out, I keep saying next month. We're actually into July, aren't we? Blackpool is this month.
Justin Pipe in the odd situation of being here and having his name
140.
sung by a significant chunk of the crowd here. It's not been the case over the last couple of years. He's not really been the darling of the darting public.
Yeah, he's had an interesting few years, Justin Pipe. He's gone from the brink of retirement to becoming the
100.
accidental
Stephen,
bad boy of darts at the World
161.
Championship. The well-publicised incident against Bernie Smith.
65.
Well, they've both had their own battles over the last few years, these two. Not only with form and confidence, but just their genuine mental health, anxiety and problems like that. Justin said he was struggling
59.
going away from home
Stephen,
and
you acquired 96.
got beaten in the World Championship, said he was going to go back to being a tree surgeon, said he could earn wedge. As Bunting looks at double 18, good guide you would think, does not use it.
Justin, you acquire 157.
Well, this will be a huge shot for Justin Pipe to break Bunting immediately. Down for treble 19. Can't quite find it.
97.
Well, he's getting
Stephen,
the
you
old
acquire 18.
layers on every throw there. And that attempt at finishing was significantly slower than his scoring visits so far in this match.
Games from the first leg.
Bunting finishes
Stephen
the leg.
Bunting. Second leg, Justin
1-0 to Bunting.
Game on.
Fighting out for a spot in the semi-finals of the European Darts Matchplay to take on the best player in the world. Now, with these guys who've both considered walking away from the game, Bunting was literally looking at adverts online and in the paper to see what jobs he could get.
92.
Justin was considering going back to, hacking down bits of trees riddled with woodworm or whatever.
I have to say, two men who are still in the world's top 32 that have considered hanging the arrows up, for want of a better expression.
Yeah, and within a relatively short space of time find themselves in the final session of a Euro Tour, playing for big money and prestige and honour, and what would be a first Euro Tour title for Bunting, and Pipe's first since the very first
93.
European Tour. He won the Austrian Darts Open when this all got going back in 2012.
Looks good.
One
Looks very good indeed for Stephen Bunting. That 180. Almost halving the score, and now he can launch a real assault on his opponent's throw here. But that looks good for Justin Pipe.
140.
Well, the maths was bad, Justin, because the last start hit a single 20, a 25 would have left a finish.
100.
Well, Justin's darts are going in at even more ridiculous angles than normal, and more so than we've seen this weekend. And I'm not sure why that is.
Stephen, you acquire 81.
I know he has had a recent change of equipment. He's got a couple of grams heavier. Lovely.
68.
I don't think that's going to be the first
Justin,
or the
you
last
acquire
time we see
52.
double 13 as a target in this match, because Justin Pipe is a big fan of it.
Yeah, he says, if I need a double to win a match, give me that one any day of the week. On Sunday night in leg 2, it's double 16 that he wants. It's double 16 that he gets.
Third leg, Stephen 2 for first. Game on.
Well, we saw in his game against Cullen, we saw in his game against Simon Whitlock, the two-seeded players that Justin Pipe has beaten.
180.
But the finishing has been pretty good this weekend. Stephen Bunting with his second 180, hit 4 of them against Darrell Gurney. He is hitting a lot of 180s on the tour, but 180s don't win you games. They only give you opportunities to win them.
And of course,
60.
one of the many players who's threatened 9-dart finishers before MVG finally delivered the Divine 9 here in Hamburg this weekend. Bunting missing on at least a couple of occasions.
Yeah, I think it was consecutive European tours. One of them was certainly in Gibraltar. Odds are the one prior to that was in Germany. Missing the double for the perfect leg.
The 2 maximums in this match take Stephen Bunting's tally to 8 for the tournament.
81.
He's one of the players that has got this exquisite ability to land all 3 points in almost the same hole when he's at his best, Stephen Bunting. Make it 9!
180.
Well, 81 left after 9 in the previous leg, 41 left after 9 in this one. Justin could fill this up, but doesn't get to a finish anyway. That's just a big tungsten tray to stick it on top.
140.
He's missed.
Stephen, you require 41.
Well, we are enjoying a tungsten treat.
Are we?
An absolute mess we are watching here. What's happened?
5 left.
37.
There we go. He's hit a big number. But
Superb setup.
well, he should have had 2 darts for the leg there, Stephen Bunting. As it is, he may, if he misses with his first 2 darts when he comes back, and Justin Pipe could be on double top. Oh, that is really frustrating.
Well, that would have been a superb setup. Without my tongue in my cheek. But Stephen Bunting does land double 2 and does take the lead in this tie. And we asked the question, who could pose a threat to Michael van Gerwen? If Ian White couldn't, then who could? Well, Stephen Bunting has started this match in a similar fashion to the way that Michael van Gerwen played against White.
Yeah, and look, Bunting
60.
is class. We know this. Just look what he was doing in the BDO. And anybody who doubts whether that actually means anything, well, it's madness.
Well, Stephen Bunting won all and everything
55.
in the BDO. And then he said, I'd come over.
He's the best of the best, and that's not my words. That's the words of the 5-time world champion Raymond van Barneveld.
I'm not sure that Barney will be endorsing Bunting for a Premier League card 2019.
No, maybe not. Although
61.
Raymond van Barneveld might be too busy playing Cowboys and Indians in America, judging on his holiday snaps right now.
Well, some superb slinging from Stephen in this one.
100.
Averaging around 100. 3.5 legs into it.
Bunting does have PDC titles to his name. He won one within days of making a switch to the PDC. He won one a couple of years later. We are now a couple of years on from that. He's due. And he's playing well enough again. And he believes when he turns up at tournaments that he is playing well enough to win it. And that has not always been the case.
100.
But that is 4 180s from Stephen Bunting. We are only in leg 4. Granted, he's left a bogey number. There was nothing he could have done about that.
Yeah, I know that Stephen Bunting was very, very pleased with how he managed to grind out a victory against Darius Labanauskas yesterday. He had to do something similar today, but with a higher standard of match against Darrell Gurney. But Bunting was telling me that he felt that his B game had kind of gone missing. He knew his A game was always there, but the B game and perhaps even the C was not there. And when he wasn't playing near his best, he was always losing.
And we've seen him go on runs this year. You know, couple of semi-finals, 4 quarter-finals, including a quarter-final in Zwolle.
70.
So it's not a surprise to see Stephen Bunting at this stage of the tournament. Double 8 would give us a breaker throw. Well, it looked all right to just stay there, but evidently not from where Stephen was standing.
54.
Yeah, Stephen had to move a long way left to the centre of the hockey to take aim with that final dart. And Pipe keeps popping up towards the end of legs with big visits. Unfortunately, it's seemingly too late most of the time.
Is it too late for the force? Yes, it is.
Well, it was in the leg, and time could be running out in the match for Justin Pipe. And I'm going to offer my observation, having seen Justin Pipe play over the course of this weekend. I feel that the Pipe pace has petered out. He was throwing faster in the previous matches. This is definitely slower than he has been throwing in this tournament.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I don't think it's drastic, but there has been a slight modification. But then again, maybe, you know, in this game, he's always constantly been under pressure from this scoring from Stephen Bunting, and he just feels like he has to put a bit more concentration into try and raise this game. Against Joe Cullen, he was in it. Against Simon Whitlock, he was winning legs and he got ahead early, and maybe he just relaxed a little bit and felt that he could speed up.
Well, yeah, and I'm not going to try and guess why, if he has slowed down slightly. It might just be that my eyes are deceiving me because Bunting is a pretty quick player anyway.
Yeah, true.
But just an observation, and I think it could be right what you say, that he's having to take some time to make sure he's as precise as possible, because Bunting is unleashing a barrage at the moment.
100.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been behind from the word go, Justin Pipe. He did get that second leg, but he's constantly been having to deal with Stephen Bunting racing ahead at the start of legs because his scoring has been so good. This is better, though.
Pipe down, but not out
140.
of the European darts match play. Gets slightly ahead on Stephen's throw, and that might help him. But Bunting puts it right.
82.
However, it's not enough to leave himself on a checkout, and one treble for Justin would be.
It's been a long while since Justin has beaten Stephen. The Bullet has won their last 3 meetings, and the one time they met this year,
95.
it was a heavy defeat as well at the UK Open. He was beaten by 10 legs to 3. Some players do have poor records against Justin Pipe because they are unable
60.
to live with his pace. They struggle.
Justin, you require 100.
Some have poor records against Justin Pipe because there was a time when Justin Pipe was just unreal. He was the best player on the floor tournaments on the Pro Tour.
And he was rewarded as such at the awards dinner, wasn't he? Player of the year.
He was. #1 seed at the Players' Championship one year.
90.
Where he reached the
Stephen, you
semi-finals
require 138.
last year. The last time he reached the semi-finals. Another for double 12.
Oh, very
114.
nearly. The one time where Justin Pipe's
56.
scoring has been, well, a shade better than Bunting's in a leg, and he nearly steals it away from him. He has the weight of dart. He just has to adjust the line now from that first one. Over to the other side of the board.
38.
Fine margins,
Stephen,
the
you
width of
require
a wire
24.
could mean the difference between being a leg behind or 3.
Gains from the 5th leg, Stephen Bunting. 6th leg, Justin to for
Pipe
first.
has never
Game on.
beaten Bunting on the stage.
Yeah, obviously that UK Open tie, but they did meet. Their very first meeting was on the Euro Tour back in 2014, and that was a 6-4 victory for the Bullet. And that was the German Darts Masters in
83.
Berlin, where we had 4 world champions in the semi-finals. You were there as a fan, weren't you, there?
Oh, I'm here as a fan now, Dan.
Well, yeah, but like not actually in any other capacity.
99.
It's like seeing your teacher outside of school or something. You're shocked to see darts fan at darts tournament. Hold the front page. Yeah, it was Phil Taylor, wasn't it, that beat Michael Van Gerwen in the final?
It was. Taylor beat Bunting in the semis.
132.
Van Gerwen beat Adrian Lewis in the semis, and then Taylor did for MVG, one of his 4 Euro Tour wins. that is as far as Stephen Bunting has got on the European Tour. But at the minute, he is a heavy, heavy favourite to match that and give himself an opportunity to take another step.
The meeting that you mentioned at the UK Open was very early on, wasn't it, this year? So looking at their previous history, this would be the most significant match in terms of 59. Prize money.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they have met in the semi-final on the Pro Tour. But that was a good few years ago, and the prize money was a little bit lower as well. It could turn into something very significant. Whoever does win it does manage to turn over Michael van Gerwen in the semi-finals.
Yes, have you adjusted those stats for inflation to take it into account?
We're talking in real terms.
91. Stephen, you require one.
The treble makes it a little bit easier for Justin Pipe, but he's still on a 2-treble finish. Bunting only needs 1 treble for a dart at the bull, but can he get it? I don't know. No, he can't.
54.
Well, he persevered,
require 130 seconds.
Trying to get an unhittable target. Pipe popping up again, this time with a finish in sight.
Oh,
that collided and deflected. It's not in, Justin.
Well, there was no reaction. I think genuinely for a moment he thought, I'm on here.
82.
It would have been brilliant if he'd gone for a double and pinned it, wouldn't it? Equally cruel and entertaining in equal measure. Bunting wants double 4. Double 2.
64.
It ain't over yet.
Justin, you require 54.
It ain't. But 2 misses darts at double here for Justin Pipe. And the end could be very close. Well, he's decided to go 18 for double. And this time he does not miss.
Justin Pipe. 7th leg, Stephen to throw first. Game on.
Well, we might only be just past the halfway stage in this match. And we are approaching the halfway stage in the quarterfinals. It's Andy Bolton, the X Factor, taking on Gerwyn Price next. The winner of that will face the Denmark champion from last week, Mensa Suljovic. Or Willie O'Connor, trying to do things that he's never done before this weekend.
180!
Yeah, I do have a confession to make about that. I've been getting things wrong about Willie O'Connor all weekend. Didn't think he'd made a final day of a Euro Tour, and then it turns out that he had. Didn't think he'd made the quarterfinals, turns out he had. Now, I can categorically state that in Europe, Willie has never got a semi.
This is true. This is true, and to be fair, we've all overlooked Willie O'Connor in our research this weekend. We can't make any secret about it.
Yeah, so apologies.
There is writing people up, and then there's rewriting people up.
100.
Now, Justin Pipe kicked off 180. It is the scoring that he has been outgunned on in this game by Stephen Bunting, and that is what has allowed the Bullet to go 4-1 up in this. But things are starting to happen for the Force.
97.
He has made a habit this weekend of sticking in and sticking in. Usually in legs where players have gone racing off and then he stuck in and nicked those legs. He did it against Whitlock. He did it against Cullen. In here, he's sticking in this match and he may yet nick it because he's left 124. 1 treble needed for a dart at the bullseye.
That treble must now be treble 18. Finds it. Can Pipe pin the ball? 99. Not quite. But Bunting will only get
101.
a maximum of 1 dart.
But it would be at the outer ring if he hits the treble. 19's needed. 19's hit. Double 12 again.
89.
He's missed outside. He's missed inside.
Justin, you require 25.
Well, he can't go +1 for double 13, so he'll have to settle for 9 for double 8. Next to double 13 now, though.
And
in the double 4.
Justin
Pipe breaks.
8th leg, Justin to the first. Game on.
Well, Stephen Bunting was averaging up at the sort of 105, 106 mark after 3 legs of this.
100.
Right now, it has dropped to about 10 points lower than that. Justin is still around the 90 average, and he's been around there all the way through this weekend.
61.
And we did see when Justin Pipe made the final of the Dutch Darts Masters back in Zwolle 3 years ago, he was able to do it by averaging around this mark and taking his chances. However, there, the draw kind of opened up for him. He only played 1 player inside the top 20. Here,
60.
he's already taken care of the 5th seed Joe Cullen, the 12th seed Simon Whitlock, a former Euro Tour winner Vincent van der Voort. He had to come through qualifiers in this, beating Peter Hudson and Stephen Burton. He's played a lot of darts to get to this stage.
60.
And on that stage this weekend, Justin Pipe has navigated his way past 3 very quick players. Bunting is another. Michael van Gerwen awaiting in the semi-finals. But in the bottom half of the draw, who's the fastest of the pack?
140.
That's a good question. Is it actually Mensah?
Possibly could be, and I was about to say as well, there would have been a time, not that many years ago, that a matchup between
97.
Justin Pipe and Mensah Suljovic in the final would have been a switch-off for many darts fans, accusing it of trying to send them to sleep. Well, right now, it's a very exciting prospect. Mensah Suljovic has become one of the most liked characters in the game.
85.
And Justin Pipe, he's sped up a little bit, he's improving, and it's got all sorts of ramifications for the bigger picture if Pipe were to book his place in the decider.
And he's fighting as well. Look at that spirit
99.
from Justin Pipe to
Justin
have dragged
require
himself back into this
116.
game. I know Bunting's level has dropped off, but Pipe has hauled himself back into this. That's an awkward one to find the treble 20 from there.
That was another one of his hobbies away from the dartboard, wasn't it?
Cage fighter. Yeah. Yeah, he's
Tree surgeon, cage fighter.
break dancer.
Like the character, really, Justin Pipe. Boring?
60. Justin, you
Anything
require
but.
64.
Well, 64 would make the match even more interesting. And he's got 2 darts at double. That's a good guide for Justin.
48.
Well, it looked closer
Stephen, you
from the
require
camera angle than it actually
124.
was, and Pipe landed it alongside. It was still a fair distance away from the double.
This 1-2-4 was missed by Pipe on the ball in the last leg. Bunting is not finding that
56.
treble 18.
Justin, you require
He's had a few
16.
goes at it now, and he's not found it when he needed it. That looks a slightly better guide than last time. Not used.
12.
Looks
Stephen, you require
askance
68.
at that one.
Well, he must think Stephen is about to pounce. Double 2 has come to his rescue before, and it does so again. Pipe
Stephen Bunting.
and forced his way back into the match, but Stephen Bunting now has the chance to slam
Game on.
the door shut.
Both men have missed doubles and missed a fair few. They're only hitting roughly 1 in 4 of their attempts at the outer ring, and that does
83.
provide some hope for Justin Pipe, because he has seen Stephen Bunting's level drop in this match, and he has seen Stephen Bunting miss a lot of darts at double. Pipe knows if he can fashion some chances and just start being a touch more clinical, he could turn this around, but he needs to break twice if he's going to do that.
93.
Otherwise, it will be a 4th consecutive defeat to the former Lakeside champion and 2-time world master.
85.
And not many people would begrudge Stephen Bunting this run, wherever it may lead at the end of the evening. Good switching from Justin Pipe.
132.
But yeah, Stephen Bunting, as you mentioned, a man who has been there, tasted glory on many occasions, but has had to fight his way back from the brink of extinction.
59.
And now finding himself in the business end of many tournaments, now on the stage as well.
Well, this is the thing for Bunting, his darts career, and he's only a young man. I mean, people probably forget, bearing in mind that he's been around for so long, and he was
78.
he rose to such heights as a guy in his 20s winning the world title.
He started winning stuff in his teens, didn't he, Stephen Bunting?
And he dominated the BDO through his 20s. He's only 33. And if you ask
134.
Paul Nicholson, he's been saying this a few times, he believes that dart play, nobody knows when their peak is, but Gary Anderson didn't start peaking until his 40s. Stephen Bunting could have a long and enormously successful career ahead of him. He, as I say, nearly walked away from it.
He did. He puts a lot of the... gives a lot of the credit to his practice partner as well now in St Helens, Dawson Michel, who's left for Las Vegas for the World Series event. But Bunting could take another step here, and he could do it in style.
120.
Very nearly booking his place in the semi-finals. Justin Pipe. Last chance saloon pipey. He doesn't even know which route he wants to go. 18 for double 18 again. He's looking down and up and down and up. It is 18 for double 18.
55.
And it is a whisker away. More match darts for the Bullet. A second Euro Tour semi-final at the end of his fingertips. And there it is. Justin Pipe's run is ended. The Bullet is one win away from a first European Tour final. But that win must be against the best player in the world. A clash of world champions set up here in Hamburg for the European Darts match play. The top half of the draw sees MVG Mighty Mike against the Bullet Stephen Bunting. We'll now look at the other half of the draw. It's the most surprising half of the draw. Some outsiders in there. The two big names in the Welsh #1 Gerwyn Price and the Champions League of Darts winner Mensur Suljovic, who we Price up first against X-Factor Andy Bolton.
Beim World Matchplay nicht am Start sein, hätte dieses Turnier hier gewinnen müssen, um den letzten Schritt zu gehen. Applaus für The Force, Justin Pipe. Stephen, congratulations. You started pretty well, and then you got having some problems.
I got really nervous. Thanks to the crowd, this crowd got me through again. And do you know what? I feel like I'm playing at home. So many fans, and I can't thank you all enough. Thank you all for coming to this great event, and long may it go on, and let's see where we can go.
Sagt, großes Dankeschön an euch. Ihr fühlt sich eigentlich wie zu Hause bei der Unterstützung, die ihr ihm gebt. Reaching the semi-finals is a pretty good result for you. That's what we're talking the last 2 days, taking it step by step.
Of course, and you've got to be in it to win it. Like I said earlier on, I've put a lot of hard work in behind the scenes. I feel like I'm playing my best darts. I don't think I've played anywhere near this week so far, but hopefully I'm saving it for the semi-final and final.
Michael van Gerwen is the next one. I'm sure you need to play that, yeah.
You have to. Michael's the best player on the planet. If I don't play well, he'll destroy me. If I play well, I'll give him a game. So hopefully I'll turn up, play my game, and we get the win.
We're looking forward to that. Thank you very much. Stephen Bunting. Sagt,